Hey, this is Kristin.
And this is Aaron. And this is the Drive Mode Show.
What are we talking about today, Aaron?
Today we're going to talk about the Jeep pickup truck.
What?
Yeah. A lot of reasons for this. The Jeep Gladiator is Jeep's first pickup truck in quite a long time. And it's one of the most talked about vehicles. So, you know, we want the clicks. And it also happens to be the first time that Kristin and I were together on a drive program and were drive partners.
And had so much fun.
Yeah, so we got to drive all the models. We drove the Sport, the Overland, and the Rubicon. And then each of us have had it ourselves for a week as a daily driver.
I love that. I love that video of you and the kids stripping it down.
That was a fun video to make too. Just put the camera on the tripod and let it run, and then just put everything in fast motion. That was great. There's a link to that down below, so if you want to go check that out. So, Kristin.
Yes.
Gladiator.
The
Do we
Gladiator.
need to get all the Russell Crowe references out first?
References?
All the Russell Crowe references. We got to get those out first.
The Gladiator. Are you not entertained? What else? That's the only line I know from that movie.
Is it? I don't know
That's the only
many
one I can
others
think
either.
of.
There's like the hand running over the wheat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I remember that too. It's a good movie.
So, did you have the Rubicon model when you had it as a weekly loan, as a press loan?
I had the Overland.
Okay.
And Overland itself is such a hot term right now. You know, people are excited about getting off-road and camping and just being outdoors, which is really cool if you're not in Texas in January, because the cedar fever is a real thing. The cedar pollen is just poofing from the trees like crazy. So other than that, the Gladiators are great for Texas.
I had the Rubicon model, and yeah, the only thing I would change about that, other than the color, because I'm not big on white, but the only thing I would really seriously change is now that I've driven the diesel engine of in the Wrangler, I really want that in the Gladiator, and it's coming this year. I think they started producing it actually just now, but
Just now?
I really want that. What? Right now.
Just now, right now. They're starting the production line.
So the Gladiator is interesting because it's both truck and SUV in one package. So it's there's a lot of things about that make it extremely unique compared to anything you want to point to as a competitor. So it has all the fun factor of Jeep. So
Right. It's very appealing.
It looks cool. It's got a great ride quality compared to the Wrangler, especially the two-door, but even the four-door Wrangler. It's a great ride quality compared to those. Because it shares suspension and framing and other components and design with the Ram 1500. Even though the Gladiator is a unique platform, there is a lot of cross-sharing. For instance, the coil springs are basically 5-link Ram 1500 coils. So they're the same coils you'll see in the Ram, just knocked down to 5 links. So it's unique, but it's built on things that we understand, things that, you know, Chrysler knew what they were doing when they designed this thing. So it's just a wonderful vehicle. So lifestyle-wise, what do you think?
I think it's a rock star. I saw one on the road the other day, and I haven't seen that many Gladiators on the road, but this one had the top peeled back, and it reminds me of the old Model T tops, which I kind of like. It's got a little bit of a retro feel. I always say it peels back like a Pringles can.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people like it because they can actually haul stuff in the back, plus have that fun Jeep quality, that Jeep lifestyle that people really like. And it's got capabilities to rock crawl. I mean, you and I took it up some steep hills and down some very steep hills and some very steep rock crawls, and it handled them beautifully.
It was a lot of fun in the mud and on the dirt when I had it here, bouncing through the hills with my kids, which is always that makes it even better. And it's got capability to do pickup truck things, but the way I really think of it, it can easily be a small pickup truck. It'll out tow and haul most of the small vehicles on the small trucks on the market right now. That's with the V6 gas, let alone something better. But it's not really about pickup truck in that way. It's more of a lifestyle pickup truck, where you can go to the home improvement store or something, but and do occasionally, because you need to. But it's not. I wouldn't classify it as a work truck. Like I would never buy a Gladiator and use it for like my lawn business or something.
Agreed. I agree.
Landscaping. But I would buy it because you can put all the camping gear, the ATV, whatever, in the back of the thing, and still haul 5 people and go wherever you want to go, literally.
Just about. Yeah, and I think that I haven't seen the sales numbers yet, but from what I hear, it's been doing really well, and it was highly anticipated, and I think people are finding it to be really fun.
The phrase that I used when I wrote about it for Guys Gab, for Ganaxon, for Phil over at Ganaxon.com, I said it's selling like microbrew at a hipster convention.
I love that.
I see a lot of them here. I've seen at least 4 or 5 just in the Cheyenne area. And then when I go south towards Denver, I see more and more. So I know it's popular in these parts.
Well, that makes sense. When I drove it out to West Texas a few months back, it was still pretty new. And I stopped at a Starbucks, and a lady and her daughter were coming out, and she said, "Can I take a picture of that?" Like, she hadn't seen it yet in person. And so it's generated a lot of excitement. I think it was a smart move on the brand's part.
Oh, for sure, for sure. In fact, I remember going out last year to Moab for a Jeep event in the wintertime, and the Gladiator at that point had only just been unveiled without covers. So, and when we pulled into the diner, the Moab Diner, right? Everybody knows what that is if you're into any of this. Pulled into the Moab Diner for breakfast, and there were 2 Gladiators parked, and they had just stripped off all of the camouflage that they had on it, right? And since we were there with Jeep, we get to talk to the guys driving them, and they were doing altitude and long range drive testing. And so they were driving from, I think they said California. They had been in Northern California, driving all the way across the country, and they were testing different altitudes and whatever. And they were on the high end, so they were going the northern route. And they were, they couldn't show us stuff. They couldn't let us drive them, which sucked. But it was really cool because they were just sitting in Moab, which is like Jeep Central, sitting in that parking lot at 7 a.m. There's a little crowd gathering, all wanting to look at these trucks.
It's like a reveal right there in the parking lot.
Yeah, it was funny. So
we both liked it. We had a great time driving it. And my question for you, Aaron, is what kind of music do you think fits the Gladiator? Because the first thing that comes to my mind is like a crunchy guitar, maybe like a 38 special, but it's so modern that I don't want to do that. I think I'd like to go something more like 5 Seconds of Summer. Teeth.
See,
have you heard that song? Something really fun, upbeat.
So for me, it gets really hardcore.
Of course it does. We would expect
I would
this.
go with Alien Weaponry. They're a New Zealand band, kids, 18-year-olds actually, but they have a mixture of music that really seems to fit. So they sing heavy metal. It's very hard heavy metal, but it's not screaming death metal. So it's heavy metal, but they mix a lot of Maori, which is their native
Interesting.
into it. And so it has and the name of the band actually comes from the British, I believe it was a destroyer that bombed their island, so shot shells at their island during some revolution or something that happened there. And so it's an interesting band, and they use traditional instruments mixing it in. So it's really, I think, a great fit because it's a mash of things that go really well together, and it's hard hitting and fast paced, and that's
Well
how I think of
done.
the Gladiator.
Good. It's a good, that sounds like a good combination.
So
I think that wraps it up.
yeah, that's what we think of the new Jeep Gladiator, which now is in its 2020 model year. So there we go. This has been Aaron.
This was Kristin.
And this
And
was
this
Drive
is the
Mode
Drive
Show.
Mode Show.